first like to approve the minutes from our last meeting. If, Tyler, can you give us a quick, overview of those minutes?
I brought these up too.
There we go. So I know we sent these out. I know we had some edits from Dave as well, so we have those updated and out there in your fiduciary file. We went through the investment policy statement. We talked about that and the fee policy statement, and finalizing those. And I know that both of those documents have been reviewed and edited by you, and we have those in place. We also went through a couple of, on the investment update, and had a couple of recommendations there. They were to replace Janison Henderson Flexible Bond with Metropolitan West, Invesco Growth and Income, JP Morgan US Equity, and then we had the ClearBridge large cap growth. We also had the small cap growth for ClearBridge to be replaced, and we talked about those. Those were actually done in August. They were done just prior to the meeting. And then we also had additions of Grandeur Peak, T. Rowe Price Emerging Markets, and Fidelity Total Bond Index, and the T. Rowe Price 2060 additions to the fund. So we went through those changes, and those are done and in effect. And then we had Prudential provided a plan report going through plan data and metrics, participant data, talked a little bit about the participants in stable value, and reviewed that your current QDIA is the Goalmaker portfolios through Prudential. And then we went through with talking through into the closed meeting. I don't know if you want me to go into those minutes as well.
No.
Okay.
Nope. That's fine. Okay, good. Any questions or comments on the minutes?
I've moved to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Everyone that approves, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is that a second from Brian?
Me.
Oh,
From
Cameron,
Kim.
sorry. Perfect.
Motion carries 5-0. There's 5, yeah. Okay, Soltis, we have item number 2 on our agenda. Do you have any more information on the IPS review and update?
No, the only action item that we had there, Ralph, was we've got your edits back, and I know we had an action item to take a little bit of time with you, just going through to make sure you're familiar and up to date. And
all right.
Well, we're happy to. I know we haven't been able to schedule that quite yet, but we know you got a lot going on.
Okay, all right. So both of those are still out then, right?
Yeah, I mean we have your edits back. Those are the investment policy statement and fee policy statement that we're currently operating under.
Okay.
And then we'll go through them with you.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we need to wait. I hate to have them postponed until a quarterly meeting, but you haven't had a chance to review those.
I haven't, not with Ralph yet, in terms of just going through. I mean, the follow-up assignment we had there was just to go through and just make sure he's familiar with both documents, what it is that they contain, and go through.
Does this committee need to adopt those then?
Well, we would recommend to the commissioners that they.
Or recommend
yeah.
to the commission they adopt them?
Yes, I would agree with that.
So if you read them, are you okay with them? So where we move forward
Yes.
and recommend them to the county commissioners?
Yes.
Well, I would then move that we recommend to the Board of County Commissioners that they approve and adopt the IPS policy and the fee policy statement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
I guess I would encourage you to sit down too if there's something that comes up that is of any concern. We could.
Yeah, in those documents,
Talk
we
about
state
those.
clearly that, to change, you can change them. We change them almost every time we meet. Anytime there's an investment change, we update the IPS to reflect the current menu and those changes.
Yeah, I don't see any problems with that at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a fluid document.
Good.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, fiduciary training was the next item we had.
Yeah, just a quick update there. We have it scheduled for November 1st, which is Thursday. We are still working on location. We've kind of grown to where we have, last couple of locations we've used, we're too crammed in the space. So it'll be Thursday, November 1st. It will likely be right around Salt Lake or South Salt Lake. It will go from 10 to about 1:30. We'll have a working lunch that day, and we'll have an invitation with kind of the agenda that will come and save the date for all the committee members here in the next couple of weeks.
It's okay. I'm just curious, do we have an idea of who's planning to attend that on this committee? I am.
I try to go if I'm available.
Yeah, I'll plan on being there.
I have a conflict that day, but if I can work it out, I'll try to.
It is
Mhm.
also
Yeah, it's good.
a webinar and also recorded.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
if you're
recorded,
not
so
able
we
to come
can
on location.
View it afterwards?
Yep, you can either
That may be better
dial
for me
in
this
and view
case.
it, or yes, we do record it. We can't guarantee that every single presenter we have there will agree to the recording,
Oh,
so
okay.
those that will agree to it and we do it, we record as much as we're able to and then make it available.
Okay, any questions on that training? Okay. Next item we have is investment review and approve recommended changes. So these are the fund changes you brought last time, and let's go over those again, and then we can have a discussion.
So we had in there just to add a few funds in there. The replacements were done, and then we had adding Grandeur Peak, T. Rowe Price Emerging Market, and Fidelity Total Index Premiums Index fund to your lineup, just to broaden some of your international exposure, so your participants have a little bit more opportunity to have access to developing markets. And then the index option there is to give those participants that want to have a passive option. And then we recommended adding the T. Rowe Price 2060. Simply as, if you're hiring participants now that are under the age of 25, that 2060 is the vintage that will typically be the closest to them. So those are the ones we had pending. And that's correct. We did get notice from T. Rowe Price just this week. Thanks for the update, or reminding me, Lindsay, that the T. Rowe Price Emerging Market Fund has been closed. So we have a couple of alternative options that we're vetting right now to come back with, but we did just get word that week, or this week, that fund is now closed.
And then Tyler, I did just get an email this morning that the Grandeur Peaks logo is not large enough to put on our platform yet. So they vetted it through our investment people, and I kicked it back a couple times. And so I just added this morning.
Okay.
From those people, so that's something I'm taking into consideration.
Yes, yeah, let's talk offline. I know, anyway.
Yeah, we can talk.
Great
But
great
I just
manager,
got it,
yeah,
so I didn't
okay.
want to set anybody
Nope.
up for any misunderstandings.
Yep, no, thank you.
So do we have discussion on these items?
Well, so we had those recommended changes to be made. Obviously, we'll need to come back with the committee. We can move forward if the committee is in agreement with the index and the T. Rowe Price 2060, and then we can come back to you on T. Rowe Price Emerging Market for another option there, as well as the global stalwarts.
So, go ahead.
So those were just additional funds?
Yes.
Those weren't the changes you had suggested, the five funds or so before, where we actually change them?
Yep.
It was just additions?
Yep.
So my thoughts on this is that I'd really like us to make a decision on the record keeper before we make these changes. And I think making these changes, this is what I think, is making these changes first is putting the cart before the horse, and that the record keeper is going to have a major impact on whether these funds will work or not for the platform. So just curious what everybody else thinks. And
Just with regard to the replacements, are there any of these that, based upon performance, you would recommend that we make the change now? Or would it really matter?
I'm trying to think if any of those, the ones that have come up today are the only ones we've had concerns in terms of closing, where all of a sudden now, if we want to make that change later, for example, T. Rowe Price, we're now too late to make that change. We'll have to use another option. And there's some good options that we've already looked at, but I don't think there's other of those other funds. I know we don't. They're So no, we won't have those same type of restrictions. So in terms of, I guess in terms of timing, it can be done whenever. I think our recommendation is with these, they're recommended managers that we just have a higher level of conviction in.
Yeah, you know, again, I think some of these recommendations are really good. Although, you know, 3 of the funds you recommended to change are not on the watch list, so they don't actually meet the criteria in the statement to make a change. But regardless, I think that the record keeper decision really takes, you know, priority on this, and that once we have that in place, then we can safely say whether or not these funds will be something that will work with that record keeper. Any thoughts on that?
I hate to keep delaying it, but I agree with you, I think, and my recommendation is the same, that we continue these items until the November meeting. That will allow them time to find
Yeah.
these suggested replacements for those that are not available also.
Yeah. I'd probably echo in terms of the RFP, it was done with your current investment menu, and we tried very hard to, you know, we obviously asked each provider to say, can you handle this menu? So the RFP responses were based on the menu as it is today and not
With
the
these
changes that we had discussed, correct? We did circle with these vendors to say, do you have these funds available as well? Just to, we wanted to know what their availability is.
Yeah, I
We'll
think once
report on
we've,
that.
you know, selected a record keeper, the menu of funds may change, I
Yeah.
think, is my feeling. So that's why I think it's wise to hold off on that.
We need a motion on that? or-
Yeah, do we?
Okay with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would move that we continue the action item to the November meeting.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. To continue that item. Kelly, you want to give us an overview of
Sure,
what's
so
happening?
I know that I gave quite a bit of information, on the last meeting, so I can just briefly kind of update you where we're at from the standpoint of, assets, as of yet last night, top investments held, things haven't really changed a whole lot in contribution rate, but I can just go over those real quickly, seeing that we're here. So the total, total assets of all 3 plans as of yesterday was $162,396,455. So we're up over $160 million. Breaking that out, it's about $105 million in 401k, which is 415. There's $22 million in 414, which is the 457. And 416 is just about $35 million, collectively. Does add up to $160 million, as of yesterday. Top investments held, we have $20 million in the guaranteed account. We have $15 million in the ClearBridge large cap. We have $12 million, a little over $12 million in American Euro Pacific Growth. The bond fund has about $8.7 million, and the last top holder is JP Morgan US Equity, institutional fund at about $7 million. Our participation rate is holding right around 81%. Contribution rate is, of course, almost consistently around 6.5% because of where we automatically enroll. Average participant balances, for the plan is about 85,000. And then I'll just quickly also tell you about, the percentage of holdings in the plan. We have 19% in stable value, we've got 8.25% in fixed income. We've got 30% in large cap stock, 10% in mid cap, 11% in balanced, 12% in international, 7.37 in small cap, and 1.21 in your income flex, which is the guaranteed income stream product.
What was the stable value?
19%. A little over $20 million.
Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Did you follow up on the 401A, the process to terminate that?
We're
What-
working on it, yeah, because they gotta look at your other plans and look at your plan document. So we had requested from Mark to make sure we had all the amendments, and then we'll get back to you. I had that on the next agenda
Oh.
for November.
And that's fine. The only other follow-up I had was with regard to the expense account.
Uh-huh.
I think I had my questions answered. Ralph, did you have a further question on those?
Which ones again?
The expense account that was provided with regard to payments that have come out of that account?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to follow up and see. Did you have any question on it?
And so, I had a question, did you wanna start including the expense account? Do you just want the balances in the book, because this is a lot of stuff? What do you want in the book when I include them? Do you want just the balances for each plan, or do you want like the last year, like the quarters, last quarters or something?
I'd like to see the year-to-date each time,
Year to date?
if that would work, just so you can see everything that's gone in and come out.
So you want it like this, but just year to date, like this, so like,
Well, that would work for
start at
me.
1/1 and we'll just keep a running tab each quarter. That's good.
Well, the easiest way might be, if each quarter you update and just show the last year, the last 12 months.
A rolling 4 quarters.
Yeah, so a rolling, that way we could see what's been going on. But that's just my preference. I don't know if someone else has some other.
No, I think that sounds
That
good.
works.
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
Kelly, when do you guys have your true up that happens with the rev share? I know,
Usually happens.
in terms of when they need to make a decision each year, just from a timing standpoint for us to
We
make.
true up.
It's usually in the
usually
first
when you
quarter,
do
right?
March, February, March.
Yeah, okay. What that is they get revenue share, Prudential doesn't send it all to you. They kind of know that it's gonna vary a little bit, so they kind of gather it, and then in first quarter, they typically will true up and make sure you have it all. And
Right.
that's typically when if there's excess funds in there as a committee, we'll look at it and say, hey, you make a determination now on what to do with those funds, those excess funds if they're there.
Are there any other questions or comments on the report from Prudential?
And then Ralph, I just wanted to quickly, update the committee on a couple of things.
Yeah.
In November, Prudential will be launching their new, financial wellness participant website, which is basically upgraded from the website you currently use now. And so I have with me, a little, brochure that I can give each one of the committee members so they can see kind of what the capabilities are. And then I thought, the best, because the benefits fair is on the 29th and you're gonna get launched in November, I would set a table up and we'll do demos, people that would like to see how it works. It's significantly different than what you're used to now. It's a very intuitive tool. It uses some of the same artificial intelligence that you get on Amazon and some of the other types of websites where whatever you pick, then they start sending you more information about whatever you're interested in. It also has a budgeting tool. It has lots of information outside of just retirement. So renter's insurance, student loans, saving for your children, estate planning, all of the things that go into financial wellness will be on the new digital wellness site. And like I said, it's real intuitive, so you take a little assessment, it kind of tells you where you're at, and then you also get to pick what you're interested in. And then it continues to try to keep you involved in using the tool throughout your session, every time you go in. It will tie back to all of the, where you change your referral rate, contribution rate, all of that is all embedded behind it. This will launch and then will launch, in November. So I wanted to introduce that as well. So I'll just give you the brochures.
Okay, great.
And then the other brochure I'm gonna give you is, it came up briefly, and I don't know if I have time to really do it today, but if we think we have time. This is the financial wellness. And again, if you wanna see it, I'll be at the benefits fair and
Okay.
I can demo it too.
I'd maybe just add, Kelly, we've gone through and vetted a number of different financial wellness programs, this one included. We actually spent a fair amount of time with Lena prior to her.
Well, this is just the participant website.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get this.
So they're gonna get, okay.
This is just,
Okay.
you're thinking pathways.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
okay,
so there's, this is just what they're gonna get.
okay,
So everybody's getting shifted onto this new website.
okay, I got you.
And then this is just the pathways. I know that everybody talked about it and we don't need to get into it. We can let Tyler kind of, but this kind of breaks out the different seminars that are available through Credential. At no cost to the committee. They're just free of charge.
Is there a demo site that's already up and running for you guys, for us to be able to kind of look at it? Okay, perfect. Okay, okay.
You probably have that.
So can we log on now currently and play with this,
I do have,
a demo
I
site or
do have
something?
a, what we call a, what they call it, a microsite. So it kind of gives you a teaser of what it's gonna be. I can send
Oh.
you that link if
Okay,
you'd like to see it. I mean, I'll just send it, Mark, can you send it to everybody? It's just called the Wellness Effect. You just click on it, it's kind of a teaser site.
Okay.
But
thanks.
I'll send that over.
Okay, any other, questions or discussion about Prudential? Okay, the next item on the agenda, participant support and education. I did speak to Lindsay about this, so anything to add?
So we have 4 dates scheduled for the rest of this year, calendared. If I'll be sending Ralph the link for people to sign up electronically on Friday. And then from there, if we have a large demand, we'll have 2 advisors from Soltis at those one-on-ones. So those dates that are scheduled, I can send them to the committee. Let me pull it open real fast. We have September 27th, October 25th, November 8th, and December 6th.
I just echo again in terms of demand, if there's greater demand and whatnot. Thanks, Ralph. We know there's lots going on. We know we're kind of nagging you.
No, it's good.
And Lena was trying to help as well in terms of getting them coordinated. I think for our team, we've got them out there and we'll be ready to be here and go through.
Sounds good.
Are they 15-minute sessions or what are they?
We decided 45.
45?
Yep.
And the reason for the longer time frame is we can help them look at their account, but if they want to bring their spouse, we're fine with that. If they want to talk about topics other than just their 401k account and what they're doing, whether it's trying to, pay down a credit card, those type of things, it's, we're equipped and ready to have those conversations, so.
Good.
Okay, great, thank you. Before we move into the RFP review area, on the agenda I received from Soltis, is there anything that you want to talk about in public session before we move into the closed session?
I don't think so. All of those items were with, obviously, the follow-up in going through the
Okay.
executive summary for the
I
RFPs.
just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Anyone have any other discussion or questions before we move to closed session? Okay. Do you do this part, where you read this?
I'll be glad to make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
I would move that we set the date, time, and location for a closed meeting to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or individuals for today's date at this location, following the completion of our regular agenda, which we just completed.
And
Second.
Second. So, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now move into closed session.